Hell has opened its doors, and this time, it's not dragging us through the gates in a movie theater. It's doing it through a controller. Clive Barker's Hellraiser revival, freshly revealed by Saber Interactive and Boss Team Games, is a spine-ripping surprise in a world where horror icons keep getting recycled into multiplayer lobbies. Yes, for once, the chains aren't pulling us into another Dead by Daylight-style asymmetric hunt. This is the first-ever dedicated single-player survival horror game based entirely on the Hellraiser mythos, and it promises to be something far more disturbing, seductive, and sinister than we've seen from other horror game adaptations. For longtime horror fans, this announcement was both a relief and a long-overdue resurrection. After a teaser last week that sent internet sleuths into a frenzy, most of whom immediately guessed the project's ties to Clive Barker's terrifying world, Saber finally made it official. And the good news didn't stop at the title reveal. No more asymmetric hell, a true return to form. The biggest sigh of relief came when Saber confirmed Hellraiser Revival will be a story-driven, single-player survival horror game, not another online-only PvP experience. Over the past few years, we've watched beloved horror franchises, Halloween, Evil Dead, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, reappear as asymmetrical multiplayer titles. While those games had their moments of brilliance, many fizzled out due to short lifespans, licensing red tape, or lackluster post-launch support. With Revival, the developers are steering clear of those pitfalls by focusing on narrative immersion, character-driven horror, and Clive Barker's original psychosexual nightmares. It's a refreshing move in a genre that's been diluted by trends, and fans are more than ready for it. A new Hellbound heartbeat. Meet Aidan. At the center of this descent into damnation is Aidan, the game's original protagonist. While not much is known about him yet, we do know this. He's on a quest to rescue his girlfriend from the Cenobites, those ritualistic demons of pleasure and pain. To do so, Aidan must master something called the Genesis Configuration, a new Lament configuration-style puzzle box that grants mysterious supernatural abilities. In terms of gameplay, that means you'll be wielding more than just guns. You'll also tap into the dark power of the Genesis configuration to hold your own against Hell's most inventive torturers. Think supernatural tools mixed with survival horror mechanics and likely a few twisted moral dilemmas, because this is Hellraiser after all. Pain is part of the journey. Doug Bradley returns. Pinhead is back. The second announcement that sent fans howling in excitement? Doug Bradley, the original and definitive Pinhead, is stepping back into the role for the first time in 20 years. That's right, the High Priest of Hell, the Cenobite King, the face behind 1,000 pins is returning, not just in spirit, but in voice and performance. Bradley's portrayal is legendary, cold, intelligent, sadistically philosophical. His voice is a lullaby for masochists, and hearing him command once more in a modern game is enough to send shivers down even the most hardened horror fan's spine. This detail alone has already elevated Revival from interesting to must-play. Barker's Blessing, a Hellraiser game worthy of the name. Even more important than returning voice actors is the fact that Clive Barker himself is involved. Not just as a consultant or name on a box, he's signed off on the vision and tone of this game. In an official statement, Barker said the developers have immersed themselves in the Hellraiser universe and are balancing every moment on the brink of nightmare and revelation. That's a strong endorsement, especially for a franchise that often derailed in later sequels and reboots. Barker's Blessing suggests Revival will explore the seductive horror that the Hellraiser universe thrives on, the allure of suffering, the transformation of flesh, the temptation of forbidden knowledge. It's philosophical body horror at its most disturbing, and hopefully Revival does it justice. Visuals and atmosphere, a bloodied love letter to fans. If you've seen the uncensored Red Band trailer on the official website, then you already know Revival isn't holding back. It's filled with grotesque body horror, creepy cults, and Cenobite-inflicted eviscerations that would make even Pinhead wince with pride. One scene shows Aidan wielding a pistol in one hand and the Genesis configuration in the other, visually portraying the balance between brutal survival and arcane horror. That fusion of violence and mysticism is quintessential Hellraiser. From the environments showcased, it seems players will traverse cult hideouts, otherworldly realms, and the iconic extra-dimensional hellscape itself. There are glimpses of ancient architecture, barbed corridors, crimson-lit chambers, and something that looks suspiciously like Leviathan's domain. Expect to solve puzzles, uncover hidden lore, and unlock unspeakable secrets, all while trying to not become the Cenobites' next skin suit. The Legacy of Lost Games, a franchise resurrected. It might surprise newer fans, but Hellraiser has never had a full video game before, at least not one that ever made it to release. Several projects were planned and cancelled across the decades, either due to funding issues or lack of direction. The closest we ever got was Pinhead's DLC appearance in Dead by Daylight, which, while cool, wasn't a true Hellraiser experience. Revival is correcting that course. Apart from being the first real Hellraiser game, it's the first one with serious backing, clear direction, and an actual release plan. And with Saber Interactive at the helm, fresh off their solid track record with World War Z and Evil Dead the Game, there's reason to be hopeful. Gameplay mechanics. Survival horror with action roots. Details are still slim, but from what we've seen, Revival is shaping up to combine traditional survival horror mechanics with action-forward elements. You'll likely be scavenging ammo, managing health, unlocking new Genesis powers, and choosing when to fight and when to run. The combat seems visceral but not over the top, meaning it should preserve the sense of dread without turning into a mindless shooter. One of the most intriguing mechanics is the Genesis configuration itself. What can it do? Does it open portals, trap Cenobites, reveal alternate dimensions, or grant cursed powers? We're expecting something akin to a double-edged sword, a tool that offers salvation at the cost of your humanity. If done right, it could be the gameplay centerpiece that sets Revival apart. The announcement of Hellraiser Revival feels like part of a larger trend. Horror IPs are finally being given proper treatment in gaming. Between Alien, Isolation, Resident Evil's remakes, and indie hits like Signalis and Amnesia, The Bunker, single-player horror is in a renaissance. And honestly, Hellraiser is perfect for games. The puzzles, the monsters, the philosophy, it all begs to be explored at your own pace, with tension ratcheting up as you creep around every corner. Horror works best when you're not just watching the door open, you're the one opening it. What we still don't know. While we have a lot to be excited about, there's still plenty under wraps. We don't have a release date yet. We don't know how long the game will be, or whether it will expand beyond Aidan's story in DLC or sequels. We also don't know how deep the cult aspect goes. Are they human followers of Leviathan? Can they be reasoned with? Will the game allow for moral choices, or are we just a pawn in a rigged game of hooks and flesh? Hellraiser Revival might just be the Cenobite summoning, skin-peeling, soul-bending horror experience fans have craved for decades. With Doug Bradley returning, Clive Barker's endorsement, a new protagonist navigating ancient and forbidden horrors, and a true single-player experience at the core, it has all the ingredients to be a breakout horror hit. It's about time Hellraiser got its due in gaming, and Revival looks like it's shaping up to be a beautiful, blood-soaked nightmare. Let's just hope we're ready to play, because once that box is open, they will come.
She is Hellbound. Follow her, for we have such sights to show you.